Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you once again for joining Empowerment Network. It's another beautiful evening as I'm joined by two most powerful men and friends in my life, Jeffrey and Andy. Hello, Jeffrey. Thank you for joining us again.
Hello, hello, hello. Good day to you, ma'am. Thank you. Appreciate being here with you.
Sure, we're blessed having you. Hello, Andy.
Hi everyone. Hello Jeffrey. Great to see you.
You too, sir. Thank
Really
you. Thank
pleased
you,
we're on
Andy.
together. That should be great fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know. Indeed, it's going to be fun. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Seeing some few new faces in the house. Hello, Liana. Thank you for joining us live. And of course, good morning to those watching us at 4 a.m. Thank you, guys. So, Jeffrey, it's been quite a few weeks that you've not been here. Maybe last time we were talking about the cloud and so on and on and on. A lot has happened. And sometimes we just want to look back, memory lane. Where did we start? How did we get here? And let's just discuss the journey, for the sake of ourselves to remember all we've gone through, and for the sake of those joining us now to know that, oh my God, it's been quite a beautiful journey. Over to you, Jeffrey.
Wow. Where do you want to start? I mean, you want to start
That's
it
it.
at the beginning? Wow. Oh, this is going to be a good one then, because we have gone so far in 5
So,
years, and I don't believe there's anybody that expected we'd be sitting here like this now looking at what we're looking at. I mean, if you think about it, when we started this back in 2018, Mr. Mufara came out and he said, well, it took him a while to tell us this because he was real good about keeping information very close to his vest. But eventually, did I lose you?
now we can see you and hear you.
And my screen just went blank. So maybe it'll do something fun for me. I don't know. But back then, he had a budget of about $100,000, and we had like a 90 to 120 day launch window. And he was just interested in making a marketing platform. He wanted to serve probably 200,000, anywhere from 2 to 3 million marketers and folks over 3 years or so. And that's really how we started. So it's kind of interesting. And I apologize. Right now, I have got a blank screen.
Oh, sorry, but we can see
Must
you really
look really
well.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sure. It's so are you right? So yeah, we just move on. Jeffrey, we don't know what's happening, but then we see you looking quite good on the screen. We can hear you really well. Yes. Right. Yeah. So Andy, I just thought that we should walk through this because sometimes people don't know how it all started. We just, the highlights. Let's just touch on a few stuff, anything that comes to mind, we pop in there, and we just move. It's a crazy day today, but I think we can do that.
Well, unlike Jeffrey, I haven't been in for 5 years, but looking for a way to be able to boost my business was what kind of led me to it. And I think it was one of Marty's adverts that I saw that said fully automated. So it helps you build a website. It drives traffic to the website, it closes the sale and deals with all the customer support and pays you for the sales. I thought, well, this is very interesting. And initially it was purely so that I could boost my own business, but having the little light bulb go on. But I have to say, it took me 4 months before I actually thought, do you know what? I best have a look at that and see what's going on. And then I started watching some of the videos that Mike Ellis had put together, and that's when the little light bulb came on, and I just kicked myself and thought, oh my God, I've wasted 4 months. So, but once you got the vision, you go, wow, if this thing goes the way he said it's going to go, this is huge. So, and that's exactly where we are now. It's fantastic.
Exactly. So Jeffrey, can you see yourself now?
Oh yeah, yeah, it popped back up for whatever
Oh,
reason. I
all
don't know
right,
what
perfect.
happened.
Because I was going to think that we should do something else, Jeffrey, because I have good memories. When there's no way when you think on passive, depending when you joined, there are at least three people that always come to mind. I think about Red Fern, I think about Jeffrey Mollocks, I think about Mike Ellis, and of course, just awesome because I started from him before I discovered the rest of the people. Those voices and those faces are always coming back. The days of the ebook, the days of Go Founders to O Founders to OES, and then we are here. Let's take it quite forward to June or the 30th of March 2022 when we started the Dubai extravaganza, where we saw the new stuff and moved to here and all of those things. We're just trying to look at those things, and then we remember how much we've gone through to be where we are now, and people should understand why we are excited, Jeffrey.
Sure. Oh man, you know what? We can back up a little bit more than that, and in about 45 seconds, we can take you through and bring you right up.
Right.
You may remember, fourth quarter of 2018, we had a pretty good start. Ash had really only expected to get 3,000 to 5,000 total founders before we actually took this thing to market and did something with it. And it took off in such a fashion that we blew that out of the water. And as we passed through the fourth quarter of 2018, going into the first quarter of 2019, we already had double-digit thousands. And that was his first wake-up call where he said, uh-oh. Remember the movie Jaws where the guy said he backed up to you're going to need a bigger boat? Well, that was that kind of a moment for Ash when he's like, uh-oh, we got to rethink this because we are growing way too big, way too fast. And he started pouring money and pouring resources into it and redoing it. But there was two things that he always wanted. And one of them was to have this massive marketing platform. And the second one was to have it for the right reason. So in one hand, he had the technology. In the other hand, he had his heart. And the two of those went together. They went forward. Now, by the end of the first quarter of 2019, we were in the 20,000, 25,000 range. We kept growing. We were at like 50,000 by 55, 60,000, I think, by the end of 2019. Moving into 2020, we kept going. And the thing is that every time we hit a new milestone, he would add something or something would happen and he'd have to infuse it with more money. You may recall that we originally started in 2018 and through the 2019 to almost to the end of 2019, we were in Calcutta. I think we were only there about 3 or 4, maybe 5 months. And we had to go into Bangalore. And then Bangalore, we were there even less. And I believe it was only 3 or 4 months that we were in Bangalore. We finally went into high-tech city, which is Hyderabad. And that's the building that we've got now. And they ended up revamping the whole thing. But, I mean, we pulled through that out of 2019 and 2020. And we were still escalating. The curve was pretty much 45 degrees because I remember doing a video where it seemed like every quarter we were doubling and we went from 60 to 120 and from 120 to 240,000 and then 200. And we kept trying to make these guesses. Oh, what are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? So by the time we got into 2022, life was pretty good and we were on a roll and we all knew that we had something bigger than we had ever planned on. And then I think it was March of 2022 that he came out with the first big top. Remember, he was doing some traveling and he was up in Boston and we had a group in Boston. I believe that was March of 2022. I can't, it's kind of fuzzy now, but that's when we actually released the Obless in India. And we also had the whole see you at the top where your ears will pop. And that's when we got into the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. And it has been nothing but pure magic ever since.
Oh my God, that's Jeffrey for you guys. Somebody said, I think John Perella said Jeffrey is always refreshed. Yes, we brought this up on purpose because we knew we could go through this together. Thank you, Jeffrey, for doing
Well,
this.
there's a lot more. I want to get Andy in here. I never get a chance to speak to you
Sure,
guys
definitely.
together, so we'll have
Yeah,
fun.
sure. Andy needs to add up. If something comes to mind, I'll definitely want to chip in. Guys, don't stay quiet. Just let us know where you started, what you saw, and where we are now. Share your excitement. You know, Jeffrey, I joined in 2020 when there were about 78,000 people in there. But now we are counting millions. So, Andy, it's something I'm trying to look as you and Jeffrey were trying to go walk us through this. I'm thinking about those who are a bit spiritual, they would say unpassive is divine because you can't understand reason. Sometimes if I says we are unstoppable, you get it, you take it, because how did they start? It was just an idea to do a quick thing. And here we are, we are not only massive, we're serving the entire world, we're uplifting humanity in every nook and cranny of the world. Andy, I just want you to go from any angle you want, whether to start from where Jeffrey stopped or whatever. Go,
Well,
bro.
I'm a great believer in karma, as you know. So I believe everything happens for a reason, and you know, being led towards this has a purpose, has a reason, and the fact that, as Jeffrey said, the numbers kept growing. Ash has thought about this and thought, okay, we need to up the game here, and that's exactly what he's done. And the vision has just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the how he's managed to bring all of these people together actually doesn't surprise me, because I think for me, I only had to listen to one of Ash's webinars where he explained, what he wanted to do, how he wanted to do it, and the fact that he had no real interest in, becoming the next Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg. It's not about that. It's about, helping everybody, and hearing, for me, not knowing how you do email marketing, as we said this yesterday about Marty. Marty's been doing it for 20 years, very, very good at it, and it's a very expensive and very steep learning curve. So for the vast majority of us, the 97% of us that don't make money online, this is, a breath of fresh air. So I only had to listen to one video from Ash, and that was it. I was hooked. But it's at that point when the light bulb goes on and you go, hold on a second, I don't need my other business. I only need this one. And that's kind of, since then it's 100% on passive. You get bombarded constantly from other people going, oh, you have to see this, you have to see that. No, thanks. I'm part of this. This is all I need. And I love that. I love that. And, we've met so many people over the last 3 or 4 years. We've become family. So, we've done 2 events in the UK, haven't we, Comfort? And getting together originally in Worcester and then in Manchester, and having that Manchester event with 350 odd people in the room, 1,000 on Zoom, and 129,000 on YouTube channels. It was like, wow.
Yoo-hoo.
It's phenomenal. So all of this is just growing, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. But as I said, everything happens for a reason. So
Indeed, Andy, indeed. It's just a wonderful story, guys. Just tell your own story. If I find anything, just put anything in the chat section, and of course, I'm going to highlight it. Jeffrey, you remember when you and Auntie were talking, something came to mind about 2020. We were actually celebrating, and we were about to launch. We didn't have any product yet, right? But then we were so on it, and nobody, like Andy says, whatever people brought to us, say, hold on, we've got Unpassive. And we were so like happy we're launching, and we didn't have any product, and now we have all connect and all of the other ones queued up. There's this lady who came. she was like, oh my God, I'm just so sad that I discovered ONPASSIVE just now that it's about to launch. Can we just extend it a bit so that I go tell my people? And we were like, who is this lady? So I'm looking for her now. If you're watching us, guys, you need to come back here, because we're just like, and it happened. Here we are. So Jeffrey, please, I'm sorry that I have to talk today because it's about history. So it's yours now, please. Jeffrey, go from anywhere you want.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're absolutely right. You know, when you start looking at where we started and how we got to where we are, and if you can just get a wide angle lens, so to speak, and we remember when we first started getting involved with the Papua New Guinea, and I mean, we didn't have any offices anywhere, hardly. We had the U.S. and we had India, and then we're like, okay, so what's next? And then, of course, we're jumping into Bangladesh, and we're jumping into Singapore. And then, you know, last year, actually earlier this year, into Egypt and Dubai, where we've been in for a while. And you look at all the countries that have members, right? Ambassadors, unpassive members, founders, for lack of a better word, in them. And all the excitement, everything that we've got going on, but it all started back when Ash had first put that vision out. He had said, you know, hey, we're going to be more than anything else. And he came up with these ends of, well, what's the favorite one that I love? Correction to the corruption. So there was a lot of different themes that we had going on at the same time, but every month there was something else. And then, you know, when he started, we actually had a handful of products. That's really all we had, was just a handful. And then when we went from Calcutta to Bangalore, got going in Bangalore, he realized, wow, you know what? We can't do this like this. In order for us to make the products that we want the way that we want to, we're going to have to bring in our own developers and our own engineers, and we're going to have to develop our own AI and all of our software. And they started developing things that didn't exist because they couldn't get it anywhere else. And that's what really brought that handful of projects together that were the new, or the original, you know, the platform that we had, the marketing, and the few products that they were going for. That's what really kind of gelled them into, okay, we've got these products that we want to put on this platform, but now we've got to do some other stuff. And that's what really brought us from that marketing to that suite of business products. We call it the smart, what do we call it? Smart business solutions. So it went from regular solutions to smart solutions. You know what I mean? And then it went from smart solutions to total solutions, global internet solutions. So at every step, he had to go, oh man, here's more money he's pouring into it, and he's getting more and more engineers. Actually, he was still with the developers and still with techs and still with people. But then he started doing big dog things where he had to go get engineers, and he had to get people that were creating the stuff that then you had to put them all together, you know. And then he came up with the ecosystem, the digital ecosystem. Of course, then you want to automate it all with AI. Of course, then you got the marketing, and then you got the financials. So as we moved forward, as we moved into the future through this, it wasn't one little thing or one little, everything took on huge proportions. I loved last night when Mr. Mufar was talking, he says, I really got ahead of myself. And every time I turned around, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, all right? He said, every time I turned around, I had these big ideas, and I kept shoving them at my techs, and they kept working themselves. We finally figured we got to stop that. So we got to stop with the vision, get with the production, so we're back on track. But man, I'm telling you, the man loves life, and we are here now. And if you heard him last night, we got big things coming. I mean, today is a huge, huge day. There was a lot of excitement and activity going on with the award ceremony over in Dubai. We're expecting big things coming out next week with OConnect, as well as, he said it last night, I put my name on OMAIL. I'm looking to make that a legacy. It is ready. All he's got to do is push the button. So that's on the way out. We got a lot of other things coming out that are just phenomenal. And when you look at the size of who we are and what we're doing, I did a search I was just curious, and I did a Google search. What IT businesses are in Dubai? And then it brought up some page, and I clicked on one that said, what are the tech businesses? And then it brought up another one. We were listed deep, 5 pages deep into a Google search. ONPASSIVE was listed as number 5, right? Under Google and maybe IBM, but we were listed as number 5 of the top 20 in Dubai. And I'm like, wow, when you start thinking about that, and all the people, when we first started, we had no clue. Mr. Mafara didn't even know. He's like, wow, blew him out of the water when we went into double digits. And now we're how many digits? 7 digits? I mean, geez, Louise. I'm gonna Andy talk. Get somebody else talk.
I love the fact that.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Sorry, I love the fact that Collins does a wonderful analogy about our competition, if you like, with regard to the, you can't call them competition, but the video conferencing platform, and that what they've done is basically they've got a 2-story house and they're trying to build a skyscraper on it. Could they call it patching and adding bits in? Yeah. So it's a foundations for a 2-story house, and they're trying to build this skyscraper, which eventually will just collapse. What I love about this system is that everything has been, the foundation has been laid so wide we could go to the moon and beyond. So, and everything is linked, if you like, to OConnect. So you get that right, and you can just add and take away and add. The foundations are there, kilometer wide, no problem at all, kilometer deep. Where are we going from here then? Let's go to Mars. It is just a different animal entirely, and all credit to the tech team. But you brought the point up that Ash mentioned yesterday. We got all these ideas, and we wanted to bring all of these ideas together, and hold on a second, let's get one done, and let's get that, and then we can add to this. And that's why I love this platform, because at the end of the day, you can just simply add things as willy-nilly almost.
Oh, sorry, Andy.
Sorry, dry throat. Yeah. Talk too much. You'll go.
All right, thank you, Andy. I know the excitement is real, and sometimes you are just like, you pinch your body. Am I really part of this? But yes, Comfort, you are. Of course, like Jeffrey, like Andy, you are part of this. So that's the real thing here. Listen, Andy, before you even took over from Jeffrey, I was going to, maybe you want to have a drink. I'll then let Jeffrey, but I would have loved you to start. Jeffrey. Listen, you remember the day they unveiled this team to us, the Professor Susan's, Nahazal, and so on and so forth, plus the fact that Ash spreads just his 2 arms and they go wide enough to hug and engulf the entire UAE and then stretch to Egypt and holding it all intact. What does this mean to this business? The man of Ash and all of those, we know what's happening in the whole UAE in the name of Unpassive. Let's discuss this, guys.
Oh my goodness. Egypt, before we even get to the UAE, he's in all 7 of the Emirates, right? I mean, this is huge. Egypt is, wow. You look at the market and you look at the projections that people talk about for Egypt, and it's no wonder that Ash is there. I mean, they are heading into some very, very deep waters over the next couple of years, and they are just going to go gangbusters. So that's going to be phenomenal for us. But the fact that we're in Dubai, which is the techno capital of the world, that speaks volumes. You look at us in the Burj Khalifa. I mean, you can take a suite, just a standard suite in that building, and it's easily $500,000. A penthouse suite's, $750,000. The man bought 2 entire floors, So, I mean, we've got some clout over there, and people are realizing how big and how well connected. Andy, I loved it when you said, that OConnect is our flagship product and it's connected to everything. But that's not all. You've got that marketing. You've got the entire digital ecosystem with a couple dozen products in it already just waiting to be let loose. And they're all of them integrated. Every one of them are automated through AI, and every one of them are a product or a tool or a department, if you will, that can each stand on its own as a unicorn company. That's the potential for each and every product that we've got, because each one is a department. And we haven't even talked about, the data centers and what we've got going on there. We haven't talked anything about innovation labs and the inventions of the technologies and the development, engineering coming out of those places. Wow. I mean, being in Dubai, they've been working a long time to make sure that they're the they're the, technology capital of the entire planet. And to have us there, and to have us there welcomed and integrated with not only the techno part of it, but the government, man, they love us. Everybody over there loves us. He's in every portion of it. I mean, look what they did with who does that with the train station? I mean, holy camole. 5 years, we've only been launched commercially with one product for 1 month, and look at the big boys we're playing with. Okay. And that's another thing. He said last night, he said, when you get at this level playing with these big tech companies, global companies, we got to keep some things quiet. That's just the nature of the beast. But don't worry, it's coming. It's on the way. It's going to be bigger than you thought it was, and we are here to stay. So life is going to be very, very good for us. So as far as us being in Dubai and in the UAE and Egypt, man, we belong there. That's the shining star right there for ONPASSIVE, because everything we do is going to be reflected in that and through that. And that's what's really going to give us a lot more clout going ahead. And the big deal is that we're in it for the right reasons. And we're not just another company trying to make a few at the top rich. We're here with benevolent purposes and with philanthropic hearts that we want to lift humanity. And we want to be that great company for the world that is a decentralization. That's a weird word. Decentralization for wealth and abundance. We bring it into ONPASSIVE and then spread it out globally. That's just absolutely going to lift up everybody. And we're going to do it through the founders or through the members of ONPASSIVE, because once we get enough abundance and we're lifted enough, we're not worried about us. Human nature kind of takes over and says, what can I do for other people? And in that way, we're going to start lifting up at grassroots, helping people where we are. We're going to bloom where we're planted, and life is going to get kind of good. So that's where we're at, and that's where we're heading, and that's why we were in Dubai, because we're that kind of company.
Indeed, I think I like the last few words, Andy. That's why we are in Dubai, because we're that type of company. Andy, just roll it out.
Yeah,
Talk about Dubai.
Jeffrey's quite right. I mean, it's the new Silicon Valley of the world.
Yeah.
But I don't really think that the vast majority of people or early birds, you can call us, or founders as we were, really understand the what it means for us to have done what Ash has done in Dubai. This is a coup, because the government don't just let you in and go, oh yeah, there you go. You can have 2 floors on the Burj Khalifa, and yes, have a station, and all Majlis supercars. Yeah, no problem. Dubai police, yeah, we're on your side. Yeah, away you go. No, Dubai doesn't work like that at all. You have to have some serious connections just to be able to go into the Burj Khalifa, let alone be able to buy 2 floors, and being able to put the name ONPASSIVE on one of the stations. Wow, you know, wow. But this is what you've got is you've got this the Emirates are great, but this is what we class as the GCC. So it's the Emirates, it's Kuwait, it's Bahrain, it's Saudi. All of these areas are all now looking at this because it's in Dubai. Now that is a massive market. Okay, and obviously with Egypt coming on board as well as 170 million people in Egypt, and if this goes the way Ash expects it to go, then every single person within Egypt should well be using or may well be using ONPASSIVE products at some point very soon. It's phenomenal to think that from that hub you go worldwide. Dubai is one of the best centers because you could say it's in the middle of everything. You know, there's international flights going to the Far East, to America. It's perfect placement. But the tourist industry there is now so big that all of these laser shows that we've seen get up the Burj Khalifa and on the Ferris wheel, etc., all these people taking videos of this, they take that home with them. You know, oh, look what I had. We look what we saw up the laser show up the Burj Khalifa. Oh, what's that? It's the tallest building in the world. Wow, look at that. Oh, look, ONPASSIVE, who are they? Let me look that up. Wow, look at that. You know, and like Jeffrey said, we're playing with the big boys now, and they're scared because at the end of the day, they know what's coming. And the vast majority of the guys that we've got within ONPASSIVE at the moment haven't got a clue. We maybe know 5% of what's going on, if that. But again, what surprises me is people don't really understand how big this is likely to get and what it means to each of us individuals. Now, Ash has said, fill your tank. Once you've filled your tank, and Jeffrey's covered it, we become Mother Teresa's, because you're never going to be able to spend it all, guys. But wake up to the reality of what's going on here. Yes, we've got people sitting on the fence, and I think this is the most amusing. They're sitting on the fence waiting to see if any commission comes in before they buy a product. What? Yeah, I don't get that either. Seriously, I've got people sitting waiting for commission to come in before they buy a product.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Okay. Now, become an affiliate, mate. All right, fair enough. But if you've got an online store, you've got to put something in the shop to be able to sell. Yeah. And we've got 3 million odd customers in total now. Could be more than that. So why not take advantage now? If this within a year, if this goes to 100 million, we're in the top 3%. Now, if you want to leave it for another 6 months before you start seeing some commission in, we could be at 50 million. So you're then at 50 million. You're not at the 3. So why would you wait? What's it costing you? You get 1 month free. You've got 107 in your wallet already. Yeah. So we're talking 143 to get your business up and running. What other business does anybody come across that is going to cost you 143? Bearing in mind the $97 we've been given back. And there are so many guys coming on board now looking at this going, hold on a second, it's going to cost me $250 to get started, but I've got 3 months for that. That's phenomenal. Right, I'm in.
Boom.
Yeah. And you're worried about 143 and you've been in this for a while. What's going on? I find it incredible.
I know, Auntie, you've been in it for a while, and you knew from the very first day that you were signing this that you would pay this final, to come out of pocket for the second time. There we are. So, Jeffrey, I don't know if you just want to queue up or you want me to, I always have something, right? I'm always up to something. So, really quick, there's this thing about Ash that I just want us to take a last round on this so that we use that to talk about all connected bit, especially that we don't know who's watching us, right? One thing about Ash is I'm trying to hope I put it well. The difference between ONPASSIVE and other companies out there is just exactly the same, like the difference between Ash and the other CEOs. How? Ash's mission is not to take the whole market. I think he's capable of doing that. But his interest is just getting a fraction of the market share, and we will be fine. Many people don't come like that, and they don't even share and stuff like that. So I don't know whether this means anything, but I think it means quite a lot to me. However, let's look at all connect and so on. So whatever conclusion, comment you want to make, go from there and say anything you have in mind, Jeffrey.
Well, I can certainly start with OConnect because that's a flagship product that has come out. It's the only product we've got commercially available. And if that was the only product we had, we would still be good to go. I would not sweat the load because it will be a billion-dollar product with no problem. Now, getting back with Mr. Mufara and Mr. Mufara's heart and his vision and where he wants to go, that vision statement we've got, the last line says, and to have it be equivalent to a sustainable global economic stimulus. That tells you right there where his heart is, because a stimulus is something that's given to you to boost and to help you economically. And that's exactly what the bottom line for ONPASSIVE is. Mr. Mufara is looking at taking this company, and he's already done it. It's already global, and using it to lift humanity and to make it a platform. And I liked that, Andy, you had indicated a little bit. I think the word you used, I think, was competition. We're not competing with anybody. We're competing with ourselves only, because our stuff is so well developed and so integrated and so together. Yeah, okay. Sake of transparency, we got a few things going on with little glitches, and yeah, you might have some timing issues or some delay issues. You may have, we had some payment processing issues, but they're working them out, and we're moving forward at light speed. And every bit of this is going to be, the analogy I use is on the court when you're playing basketball, right? If the world is a basketball and you put that basketball in the hoop so it stays right inside that net are the members of ONPASSIVE. We are a global net of benevolently minded people that once we start getting rolling into that abundance, we are literally going to be shaping and shaking the world up and giving that abundance out. And even if we've got members that they like to spend and maybe not give it away or whatever, either way, the infusion of the abundance into the economy at those levels is going to have the same effect. Either way, you're getting it flowing, you're getting it going, you're getting it out to where it can be used. Mr. Mufara has said more times than once, hundreds, I'm sure, that we do not have an abundance problem with the world. What we have is a distribution problem. The abundance is out there. The wealth is out there. The money, we've got more money floating around the world now than we've ever had in history. The problem is you got a bunch of people hoarding it up and hanging on to it and not letting loose of it. We're the correction to the corruption in that sense, in that whatever we get flowing, because see, it's for something to work, it's got to flow. You ever tried to use a vacuum that didn't have airflow? It don't work. That's the same thing with anything. You got to have flow. ONPASSIVE is creating flow for the world, and it's creating it in such a way that it's doing it globally, and it doesn't matter if individuals are on board with doing charity or not. The mere fact that they've got the abundance and they're spending it locally by the millions is going to have an effect which is very, very good. Now, we all know that Mr. Mufara's heart is one of compassion. We talk about that. We talk about compassion. We talk about his passion in particular. And then we take it one step further and say, look, develop that passion, find out what your passion is. And to do that, all you have to do is think, what do you like to do? And if you're not sure, go to onpassive.com, click up on the left-hand side. There's a little waffle up there, and look at those products streaming across and go, wow, that one looks interesting. And click on one, and that may be the one where you can say, I can take my passion to the world through this one project or this one product or this one platform or whatever platform you want. So once you find out your passion, you can develop that passion through ONPASSIVE. ONPASSIVE is going to give you the resources to develop that and to take that to the world. That's what we're here for. So when you talk about the heart of Ash Mufareh, you're looking at he wants the world to love each other, and he wants humanity lifted up. And you know what? It's been a long time since we've had any kind of a company like that's what they want. That is not what anybody wants. I'm telling you, we have been hurting for hundreds of years, and we're finally coming into that age where humanity's getting a little bit of a consciousness rise, and this is part of it. And ONPASSIVE is riding that crest, if you will. We are the paradigm shift, right? Oh man, it's changing the world economically. Look at the world right now. Look at the world. There is not a system in the world that is not going through chaos and redistribution and or refunctioning, whether it's medical or educational, whether it's industry, whatever it is, political, government, it's all in chaos, but we're heading toward the good part. And ONPASSIVE is leading the charge on that change for this economic growth. And it's all got to do with heart and wanting to do what's right because it's right and what's right for the greater good. So once we get our minds off ourselves, once we start thinking of others, everything else is going to naturally flow. And I'm going to shut up because I could,
I love it.
I love this company and I love what it stands for and what it's doing. And listening to Ash last night, I'm telling you, guys, get ready. You're about to be in the best shape of your lives. And it's not going to stop anytime soon is what I'm saying. It's going to keep going, keep going, keep going. So, Andy, when you talked about people that said, well, I'm just going to kind of hold on and see what happens. How long you got to hold on? Just jump in, because as soon as you subscribe, that opens everything up. Then you're done until Mr. Mufareh, starts doing the magic he does. I mean, life is good. And you got 3 months. So, okay, you can take your time, but you got 3 months here where you could be doing a lot more, and I'm going to be quiet. Thank you, Comfort.
Yeah, no, exactly. I love this is why I love O Bless, because you've talked about bringing things forward and O Bless is not a crowdfunding system per se, but what it does allow us as a unicorn company to do is to help inventors with new technologies, to help them bring this technology forward. Yeah. Just think, if we're able to provide facilities in Africa that create water or create power or flight or healthcare that we know is here, but it's not been brought forward because
distribution. You're right.
Yeah, people have been frightened to bring it to market for whatever reason. We won't go into that right now. But this, we said this yesterday. We've got 3 million customers, and that's going to grow. But let's say, for argument's sake, that somebody put some details in. I've got a new technology, and I really want to bring this forward. This is going to do this, 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 and this. And 3 million people donated $1. Is that guy going to bring his invention forward?
That's $3 million a month. Yeah,
absolutely. So, how many new technologies could we bring forward to help humanity? I know all about the orphanages, the hospitals, the churches, etc., that need the cash to be able to look after kids. But let's take that to the next level. It's like the fisherman. Yeah, if you provide a fish or you teach the guy to fish, at the end of the day, what we're going to be able to do with this amazing company is be able to teach people to fish, because we're going to be able to bring all this new technology forward. And that, for me, is one of the most exciting things ever. You know, there are over 5,300 patents that have been suppressed in the US since 2010. And just bringing some of this stuff to the fore will be amazing. But you can't stop a unicorn.
You know what though, Andy? As good as all that is, Bless is even more universal than that. You don't have to be a tech head or a smarty britches or an inventor to take advantage of it. If you've got a charitable cause that you want to bring forward, bring it forward. If you've got a heart for pets, that are on the street, or for the homeless, or for the water crisis, if you have any kind of charity in your heart that you want to see manifested in a way that can be funded and has something actionable that can take place, you can use Bless. You can use Bless. I mean, you think about the people up in Michigan that have the water problem. You can use Bless. Same thing with the homeless. You can use Bless.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
You got some high tech inventions, or you got new technology, or whatever. I mean, you got churches. Doesn't matter. You're right.
The world is our oyster, and that's what it will become.
And that's just one product. And not to mention, 100% of the money that's going to be used in the funding for whatever that cause is goes to that cause. Most funding agencies, like, I'm going to use the word crowdfunding, even though Bless is not crowdfunding. Most crowdfunding, they burn 15 to 30% before it even hits anything. That's not happening. Bless is administered by ONPASSIVE, and 100% of the money coming in for that cause goes to that cause, and the burden of administration is carried by ONPASSIVE, and that's another thing that really sets that apart.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. It has been another evening, guys. So whoever is watching us now, if you are hearing about this for your first time, or you've been hearing and ignoring, why not just go ahead, click. There's a link in any of the 7 channels you're watching on. There's a link on Facebook. Definitely somebody's talking to you about Unpassive. Go back to them. Registration is 100% free. Have a taste of our All Connect and tell us, ask us questions and get help. You don't have to join, but then why not have a look? You don't pay to look at it, right? So this is Unpassive for you. And if you are that person, you love to help people, you lack either time or funding or resources or both, we have it here in Mr. Mufare's ecosystem. So go ahead, guys. If you found this information really valuable, why not share and educate people, and then subscribe and click on the bell, because we like doing this. And Jeffrey has to come back a bit more often because we need to take this to its destination. So thank you, Jeffrey, for coming. Thank you, Angie. And see you again soon, guys. Thank you so much.